Boom, hello and welcome to the Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast, Season 2. With your host, Byron Rodgers. This podcast is dedicated to the executive protection practitioner, the private security professional. In this podcast, we're going to talk about the mental, emotional, psychological, physiological fitness that goes into being an efficient and effective executive protection agent. Whether you're in law enforcement, whether you're a mom that's looking at how to protect her children, or a father that's focused on how to protect his family, I believe this podcast has something for all of you. We might even get into some tales from the crypts of true Hollywood stories from time to time. I'm doing this podcast because I feel the reality of this job is simple. If you really want to be good at executive protection, it's more than just a job. It really is a lifestyle. And those of you who've been in the game for any serious amount of time, you already know what I'm saying is true. So if that sounds interesting to you, enjoy the show. Out. Boom! Yo, what's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of Executive Protection Lifestyle. I'm your host, Byron Rodgers, and today I've got a special guest with me, Daniel Farr. How you doing, brother?
Good, Byron. All good. How you doing?
Good, man. We out here hanging, and you're over there on the East Coast doing some big things.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, sir.
Right in Fairfax, Virginia, 30 minutes from Washington, D.C.
Yeah. And speaking of Washington, D.C., man, just how is it over there? How's it been during these current events, pandemics and riots and stuff?
It's been chaos. It's been 24/7, phone after phone, and we need this, we need that. It's been a lot of, when we're boots on ground in D.C., providing protection for a lot of executives and a lot of Fox recorders, reporters and all the time. So, but the disrespect and the things that come out of people for authority is just so disrespectful. I mean, I have never in my entire career heard the disrespect for authority.
Yeah. Nah, I've experienced the same thing, like out here in Cali, it was just like the phone was like I couldn't even handle all the work, to tell you the truth. I started having to push it to friends and companies I trusted, because it was just like, yo, we need 4 guys here. Yo, we need 2 guys here. Hey, how quick can you get a team here? And I really, but it was a really good experience to grow the company, now we're even more built up, as a result of it.
Correct.
And as far as the disrespect thing, man, I've spoken to a lot of people on both sides, and it's very interesting. Some people seem to think they can do it better, they can do the policing job better. But then as a company owner, and as a man who's led men in battle, I'm like, maybe you can.
If they've been on those shoes, then that's when the truth will be there,
Oh, yeah. Leading humans. There's always a human element, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah. Always.
Yeah, man. I don't care what culture you're part of, what gang you're in, what department. There is going to be a human element. And managing public perception around those bad apples and good apple ratio, correct, that just seems to be the game. You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting. So what's the climate like in DC anyways right now, man?
Right now, temperature-wise, is about 95 degrees. It's pretty hot.
Yeah.
The climate is we still have protesters all the time. They're constantly there. So we're still, every day, every night, they're still out there. It seems to be that it's a full-time job for a lot of people being down there.
Wow.
So, yeah, we're constantly, like I said, we're busy. Thank God we're busy. But I'm like you. Yes, can we get you people? Yes, but I'm going to have to source it out. We're going to have to pass it on, because we're there. We're maxed out.
Yeah. And it signals, to me, that right now, to all the people listening that are like thinking about getting into private security, like, I don't know, maybe you have a different perspective, but it seems like a good time to be getting in the game, man.
It sure is. As you know, we have our training center. We have ASPIS Training Center, and our classes have not stopped ever since their pandemic. the riots. Everybody wants to take classes, one-on-one CCW, one-on-one security classes. I mean, this past weekend, we had a PI class, a basic security class, an advanced handgun class, range. So we're running on fumes.
Heck yeah,
but
man.
You know what? We'll make it happen.
Heck yeah. No, that's the way to be. I love it, man. And I love it. That's why I got you here, man. That's what's up. So I guess digging a little bit into you, man, who are you at your core, brother?
So I am the Executive Vice President of Asbest Protection Service. We started it at 2014, November 2014. It's been 6 years on the books. I come from a private security and federal background. For 16 years, I've been doing this. I started working for the government as a private contractor, doing access control, you name it, 24/7 operations, Overwatch, moved my way through a lot of different contracts. As an independent contractor, you just contracts will stop and they'll come and say, hey, your contract just ended. Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Yeah.
So you always got to have, your next resource and where you're going to go next. So on my last contract that I did for 10 years, I went to a DHS contract where the air marshal units is, and I met my business partner, Troy Wilkinson. He's a retired Georgia SWAT guy, narcotics and DEA. So we worked together for 5 years, and then we decided to open up Asbest. So we said, okay, well, why bounce from one place to another? Let's just start our own and let's make it different in the industry.
Wow.
Our goal is you can always get boots on ground no matter what. You can always put somebody on a seat and have them to just watch a gate or do this or do that. But what we wanted to focus in is in the quality, not in the quantity. So our motto was to make sure that when we hire and we get the right people, it's about the quality of work, of how you're going to react and what are you going to do, compared to, yes, we can get you 10 bodies there and that's all they are, and they're just going to sit there. Because that's the problem in the industry, as you will know.
Oh, yeah.
The security industry, the law enforcement industry, there's always a bad apple. There's always something that they can do better. But until you are out there doing it yourself, as an owner of a company, two, as a practitioner, and you're out there doing it 24/7 just like everybody else, then people are not going to understand what it is to go through it.
Yeah.
So I thank God that we've been on the books, like I said, 6 years, and we're pushing forward, and it's been nonstop.
That's awesome, man. No, I couldn't agree with you more. It's kind of around what I was saying about the human element. There's always those people that kind of bring the average down, and in the private security industry, I think because it's so heavily impacted by, the fact that you don't make money for the client. So clients have an aversion to want to pay for the service. And then if you do the service well, nothing happens. And then they think they don't need the service. It's like this weird little, you know what I mean? So the tendency tends to be to find out for the owner operators sometimes to try to do it cheaper and then they end up putting warm bodies in seats and then it damages everybody, So I like what you said, man. I like that approach, that quality approach.
Like back in graduated in 97, and then in 98 to 2000, I started my own little business, and I was starting doing security for bars. Yeah. I was bouncing chicken IDs here and there. And that lasted for 2 years until I went to a different career, moving up through the ranks and then just working and continue working and getting studies. And then I was like, I'm going to go back into do more about security. And then I started working, but from a different perspective, from being a bouncer to a middle security, and then moving your career into personal protection, and then doing all this overseas operations. It's like I said, we have to do, as owners and as operators, we have to do it all. And then like that, we can teach our guys how to do it right.
100%. Yeah, I had a guy ask me last week, kind of like, hey, I want to start my own security company. Like, what do I need? And I was like, well, like, where are you at in your career? And he was like, well, I had to give him you got to get a guard card, exposed weapons permit talk, and he hadn't actually done the work. And so I was had to be like, hey, man, I appreciate you wanting to go out and get after it, but there's just so much you need to understand about the work before you can lead men to do the work righteously, and be in right standing with those men and with those clients,
Yeah, I mean, anybody can start a company. You can apply for a business license. You can apply for, the name of your business, and all of a sudden, yes, you are a business. But now let's do the work, which is all behind the scenes, which is what people don't understand, that it's a full-time job.
There's no 9 to 5. You're going to be eating dinner and someone's going to call you and be like, hey, man, where's my guy? Or, hey, man, my wife, my kid, something, I can't make it. You know what I mean? You're just going to be, you got to do a little bit of this, man. You got to juggle the game.
24/7. I can tell you how many birthdays I have missed from my family, how many the school projects, you name it, because my job is to run the company, to make sure that my guys are good to go. And of course, my family, in order for me to provide, I have to do what I have to do. Yeah. And, I had a good mentor, and I'm going to pass it on to the generations, because I think that's my goal. I'm a firm believer. I believe that God has put me in this position for a reason.
Yes.
And we're going to go out fighting for it, brother.
Heck yeah, man. We're going to figure it out. We're going to get after it.
That's just me, man. Growing up overseas, I've seen a lot of stuff that I'm starting to see it here. So,
right. That's what I've been thinking. These guys are talking about defunding the police and mobs and all this stuff. And I'm like, you guys, I've existed in anarchist and lawless environments. It's like right and wrong will stop mattering. All that will matter is might makes right. They got more guys with guns. They're stronger. They won tactically that day. And that's it. That's the only thing that will end up mattering. Like you guys, we got a beautiful thing. Some of y'all need a passport.
And that's what a lot of people will never understand, that unless they go overseas and see the world in a different ways. I mean, I grew up in South America, man.
Yeah.
And perfect example. I mean, Venezuela, the richest country in the world at one point with the most oil, and right now is bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, look at Cuba.
Yeah.
Now Bolivia, Ecuador. I was born and raised in Ecuador. I mean, it was the best country, and now it's just bad. It's not good, man.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they took the power of the authority, and only the bad guys are the ones who carry and who can do damage to people.
Yeah, man.
Fortunately.
Yeah, no, and that's the problem, man. That's a quality problem. That's kind of a part of my motivation for the Protector Nation stuff, man. And I'm honored to have you join forces with me on that. So
it's an honor here too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we couldn't have you down here at the East Coast due to the COVID-19.
Yes. No, but man.
Next time.
It is definitely on the roster, because we are going to take the Protector Symposium on tour. This is happening. Oh, yeah. This is the game. I'm just waiting for them to let me loose, what I mean, with the live events and stuff like that. We're going to hit the East Coast. We got to get up there with you guys, man. You got you're like at a hub with regards to, all the federal contacts, law enforcement folks, that part of America. So that's going to happen. I can't wait for that to happen, man. And you got the facility for it.
Yes, we do.
Let's talk a little bit about that facility that you guys have, man.
So we have the indoor facility, which we offer all the training for the basic security investigations. That's all the classroom. Mm-hmm. Then we have an outdoor land, which is about 30 minutes from our office. It's 20 acres cleared, so we can do some motorcade operations. We can do some active shooter. Any shooting simulations that we can do. We practice a lot. Everything is outdoor. So
Awesome.
it's actually a good thing, a good resource for all of us and for my guys. So that's what we do.
Yeah, man. And to have, I mean, I don't know. I know that bays that you can do all the outdoor stuff and shooting from vehicles and all that stuff on the West Coast are rare, you know?
Yeah.
So that sounds like that sounds awesome, man.
I know there's always a lot of red tape when, private sector says we can go out there and train and do this. But we've been blessed so far right now that we can still do those because we are a Department of Criminal Justice Services Training Center certified under the state of Virginia. So we are blessed to have that title, and then we can go out there and train. So
outstanding. And about how many students can that facility facilitate?
The outdoor facility, we can put 300 or 400 students and separate them in groups, and each instructor will guide 50.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing.
That is a beautiful thing, man. I already know. I don't want to let too much out because I know where I'm going with these symposiums. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to be some real good training we're going to be running into, man. That's exciting.
It'll be good. It'll be good once we can get you out here and get the rest of the executive protection guys and personal protection, close protections, PSD guys. I mean, it'll be nice.
Yeah, we can hit the gas. That's awesome, man. What did you think of the first Protector Symposium that you were at?
So when I first attended, it was in Santa Monica, I believe.
It was in Irvine in November.
Irvine.
Yes,
so
sir.
To me, it was the best thing actually to meet and listen Ed.
Yeah.
Coming from Mexico, I have operated and worked in Mexico a lot of times, and I know where he's coming from. So to hear somebody stand up and tell the truth,
the actual truth,
without any red tape, that is the best thing in our industry.
Yeah, that's what needs to happen.
Listening to everybody. I mean, the guy that I have followed a lot of times is, Chris West with AS Solutions. I mean, the guy is the knowledgeable of the EP world. So to hear him out, and like I said, there is no red tape when all these people are talking, and that is what we need to do.
Yes.
And that's what I like. I mean, and I know where we heading. I know what are we doing as, protectors, as, taking care of people. And I'm looking forward for what is going to happen in the future of everything that we're doing.
Yeah, man. No, that's awesome to hear. The one question with Ed that just stood out with me is somebody was like, so are you saying that Mexico is like a fallen state? And Ed's like, yes. Like, no hesitation. He's like, it's over. He's like, and then he followed it up with, and if you guys aren't careful, the same thing's going to happen here. Exactly. And now here we are.
Yeah.
People just running the streets, burning things. It's chaotic. It's getting chaotic. And
you know what? My first 10 years growing up overseas, I saw it. My father retired after 45 years of service working down in South America, all over South America. And he said, I am done because there's no way. There's nothing. You don't have a support.
Wow. You're on your own.
I pray to God that what we're seeing here today in America, in the United States, that it has to stop. And we have to make a difference, and we have to stand our ground. We can't just let people like them walk all over,
I think what's interesting is it's starting to move into a place where Americans are realizing that, and this might be where they want it to go. I hope not, but that Americans are realizing that they're actually going to have to do something as individuals. Because I saw an article on my way in that was talking about how people are protecting like Thomas Jefferson's statue. Like Americans are like getting out there to protect Thomas Jefferson's statue. And, if law enforcement can't do it, and the president is going to be, vehemently demonized if he does anything, they're going to burn him at the stakes if he does anything. It is coming down to the reality of what the Protector Nation is all about. Good people needing to be willing, capable, and prepared.
Yeah, like all this, burning the flag down, taking statues down. I mean, history is history.
History, yeah.
A wise man said you will learn from history and you will not repeat what it was done. That's why it's called history. So respect it, learn from it, and move on. And if it wasn't good, then let's make a difference.
Yeah.
But don't go out and burn the flag and disrespect all of our military who has died, for us so we can do and be here. I mean, that's just a great disrespect for everything.
Yeah, man. I've said the past is for information, not identification. Just because it happened doesn't mean you have to identify with it. I don't have to identify as a slave. White people don't have to identify as slave masters. Like it ain't even got, like it happened. Let's learn from it, and then let's move on. But the second you start forgetting it, that's when you become doomed to repeat it, and this is what's interesting. But yeah, man, with the symposium coming up, I feel like now is a very appropriate time for civilians to really look at the reality that, the cavalry is you. Invest in your training, invest in being capable of protecting yourself and your family,
Exactly.
It seems to be that time.
People need, the regular citizens, like you said, they're going to have to learn how to protect themselves, protect their family when they go out to a restaurant, when they go out grocery shopping. I mean, who knows? And, the key to all this and what we have learned and we keep learning, and it's called situation awareness.
Oh, yeah.
If you lack of situation awareness, then I'm sorry, but you need to focus on it. You need to learn because you need to know your surroundings.
Mm-hmm. And you can become a casualty real quickly, and it's just, now with all these riots going on, you could be driving home from the supermarket and find yourself in the middle of something weird.
Exactly.
And another thing that was going through my head today as I was watching some dynamic human threat scenarios play out was a family was trapped in a car. Aggressors were surrounding the vehicle, and the family was like begging these people to stop. And like one guy's reaching in his shirt, like this, like he has a gun. And they were like, the civilians in the vehicle were like begging him to stop and like trying to get around him and like wouldn't run him over. This is a bold statement, but in my opinion, it's the reality. You got to make a decision as to how far you're willing to go to protect yourself, your family, and innocent people.
Yeah.
And you got to make that decision ahead of time because, I can't sit here and tell you that if this guy's sitting in front of me acting like he has a gun and I got my women and children in the car, buddy, don't be standing in front of the car. You know what I'm saying? God bless you. I'll explain it to the police. You know what I'm saying? But we're getting out of there come hell or high water, And people need to start inoculating themselves and accepting that reality that you might be asked to do some hard things in order.
Yeah, the good thing from Yusuf was that, you have to learn, even as a civilian, how to read people. You need to understand the fundamentals of the other people. What are they doing? If it's 90 degrees and you walk in with a trench coat and a hoodie, there's something wrong.
Yeah, man. Why are you there? What are you doing?
Like, you need to understand those things. It's not common. It's not normal. So they just need to learn. And that's what I like, that by us, by me being a part and sponsoring and helping you guys, is to let the people know that they need to learn about all these things, because it's just going to get worse out there. And it's what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. I appreciate that. And it's, and that's kind of why we have that blend. That's why Yosef is there to teach those soft skills. You know what I'm saying? Ed's there to teach the things he teaches. This next one coming up, we got an amazing lineup. You guys can look it up, see all the stuff around it. I'm excited.
I can't wait.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. Jared Reston's talk about, he was shot 7 times. Got hit 1 time in the face by a .45 caliber round in one situation, fought through it. I think every first responder should hear that, should listen to that talk, and just the psychology behind that.
I'm gonna let I actually have let my good friends from the police department know, and I already gave the flyer, send the email. I mean, they're waiting for it. So
Awesome. That's
especially from, him as a law enforcement perspective, being shot 7 times and fought through it.
Oof.
That's
like, you just got to take your hat off. You know what I mean? That's like, okay, I'm just going to listen, you know? When you're one of the things I saw on your website, it said modern training for the modern world. What did you guys mean by that statement? I liked it. It seemed to align with what we're saying.
We understand security has been, I don't know, 50 years, 60 years, but we don't want people focus in the old security rules and regs. I mean, we need to understand that a lot of things change as we grow and then we get older. And as the world changes, everything changes. So we need to adjust and start learning new skills. I mean, look at it now. We have drones. A lot of people are using drones to get site advance and get a site and see what's going on, where they're going to go. So there's a lot of intel, a lot of the intelligence departments that they're using. We have a 24/7 intelligence group that monitors all of our clients, social media, networking. They do our country reports. And if we're going into, God help us, working a protest, then we have live footage intel. So we focus on what to do now and prepare and be proactive for the next step instead of just, let's just go all blindfolded. So we have focus in mother training. We're going to teach you what to do. One, avoid the situation. Don't go into a crowd if you don't need to go there, which, a little bit of this is common sense too. And
Oh, yeah.
If you don't want to be in trouble, then don't go towards 100 people.
Yeah.
Joseph said, if you don't belong there, just turn around and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Don't go through there.
Yeah. I saw another altercation that I posted on my channel with an EP guy, man, and it said something like he may have been Facebook or one of the EP teams up there in Silicon Valley, but he was out there and he was looking clean. He was looking corporate.
Oh, I know it.
He was looking good. He was looking polished if he was inside of corporate America. But out there, they were like, yo, what's up? Like, why you out here, bro? And he had his but then he had his kid on underneath. He had his bulletproof vest on underneath. And I was like, man,
he got eaten alive.
He got eaten alive. And I felt bad for him because he was trying to be passive. And I was like, bro, there's a time to be passive. And then there's a time to not be passive, because the guy who doesn't want to get punched in the face, that's the guy that gets punched in the face, Yeah. And I was like, dang, man.
He was very nervous.
Yeah, once they can smell that on you, then it's like it emboldens them and encourages them. Yeah. I was kind of like, man, and then if you have negative contact with essentially what could become the enemy, get out of there. Like, I was kind of like, homie, like the second they were like, hey, what are you doing here? I'd have been like, I'm kicking it. And then I would have moved. I'd have been like, I'm checking things out, man. And I'd have looked them dead in their all seconds and been like, checking things out. And then I'd have,
Poor guy, I mean, he was nervous and he said, well, I'm just on, what did he say?
On my break, or I'm on my off time.
Break. And I was like,
get out of here, bro. Yeah, man.
Lost it, buddy. Please.
And then I felt so bad for him. And I was like, if the other thing too, if you're wearing if you're wearing kit, force multiplying type kit, combat centric gear, and you're in a concealed format, nobody should be able to tell you have that gear on. So exactly. You can't be printing even when it comes to body armor.
Yeah.
Even your medical equipment. Like, if you're low pro, you're low pro. If you're exposed, you're exposed. I was like, homie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't
conceal is conceal.
Yeah. With respect to him and with respect to the situation, it's Monday morning over here. But yeah, man, I was kind of like, uh-oh. Yeah, get out of there, man.
But yeah, and that's what we always try to, like I say, mother training for the modern world. Like, we've been blessed to have a Milo simulator.
Okay.
It's a law enforcement simulator, and based on my business partner background, we are allowed to purchase that. And nice. We have over 1,500 scenarios, shoot, don't shoot, active shooters. We can go and record our own video outside with our own guys and we bring it in here, and then we put it to the test.
Really?
So that's what we mean. Like, we want to train people like the real life situation of what to do and what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, our training center, we take our basic security courses, our basic armed security courses, and we put the guys to the test, because if I'm going to train you and I'm going to put you out there either on a corporate America business, government entity, I want to make sure that you are fully trained to react to a situation that something will happen, because it's a matter of time of when it's going to happen.
Yeah, 100%. And to be trained any other way is just foolish. It's just not okay. If you're out on the job and your employer hasn't put you through some comprehensive training, and I don't mean just taught you tactics. I mean, taught you how to think, how to problem solve, because what you're going to face ain't going to be what you trained for. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a little of what you trained for and a little bit of Murphy and a little something new, and you're going to have to learn to think.
You can be the best shooter out there.
Yep.
100%. And I bow to you. But you need to be able to think with this thing that God has given you, because 90% of our job as EP is the thinking game.
Yeah, the thinking, planning, social dynamics.
Yeah.
And just rinse and repeat, thinking, planning, social dynamics.
Exactly. If after we preach to our guys and we tell them, if after your 12-hour shift with your client and you're going home, if your brain is not tired, then you didn't do your job.
Yeah, you were slacking.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. No, that's the truth. That's definitely the truth. What would you say is the hardest lesson you've learned out in the field over your career?
Working with different teams.
Okay.
As an independent contractor, if somebody calls you and say, hey, I need 2 more guys to meet us and do this detail. To me, that was the hardest thing, because if you don't work together with your own team, when you get put out with a different team, you're not going to know the same dynamics, the same lingo.
Yeah.
So to me, that was the hardest thing, always to accommodate and be like, man, why is this guy does this way? Well, I do it this way. Mm-hmm. And that was always the hardest thing.
Yeah.
And that's why right now we have employed 35 full-time EP guys under ASPIS, and we train together. We do everything together, because you call me and you say, I need a team. I got your team, and they will move together. They will do everything together, and they will do it right.
Integrated, totally. Yeah, that's good, man. Because that's the way. I mean, it's because especially when you're contracting, the domestic contracting stuff, man, it's like a pickup basketball game. You just show up, 4 other dudes show up, and it's like, all right, let's see. He's got a nice crossover. He's got a nice layup. You know what I'm saying? But let's see if we can make this work today, or for the week,
Like, I will tell you, without going and saying names, I did a detail, and when I got to this high-end hotel, I was downstairs in the elevator section, and I see a group of 5 EP guys slapping 5s. Yeah, man, good job, good job, good job. That is not the time to be doing that. So that shocked me. It shocked me really bad. I was like, what not to do?
Yeah, get out of there, y'all, with your honor, and then go somewhere else.
Yeah,
just get out.
Do that when you do your AAR. Once you're in your room and you're gonna do your brief, then that's
relax.
But don't do it in the public place, especially on the 5 stars hotels where high network CEOs are.
Y'all are bringing the average down, man. Come on, man. Act like you've been here before, man.
Yeah.
God bless them, man. Okay. Hopefully they see the podcast. What would you say proudest moments in the field are?
The proudest moments?
Mm-hmm.
All of my jobs till today, I will say that 100% the jobs have been clear and no casualties. I got to go home and my clients were safe. That is the proudest moment to me, because if I'm doing that job and my client is safe, that is just something that I take pretty heavy on my heart.
Yeah.
Because I leave my house, I kiss my wife and kids, and I'm going to go protect my clients. So to me, I'm going to come home to my clients, my personal clients. So I want to make sure that my other clients who are providing for me, it gets the job done. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, no, that's good. And it's so cyclical, man. You know, we render a service. They render us a service, you know. They render us the financial ability to live our lives. We render them a service to protect them. It's like it's a cyclical thing, man. And that's good. And I believe there's a lot of honor around, you know, getting the mission done. You know, exactly. You pay me, you bring me in to do this mission, getting the mission done, and having a record of being able to get that mission done. So that's a really good thing. I don't think anyone said that quite like that yet. That's a really good one. That's a really good one, man.
It's just, I'm proud of what I do, man. Like you, man. It's like, you know, the little bit that we have talked, and you know, we always say you are a protector for a reason. You know, God put us in these positions, and if people don't like it, I'm a gun-ho God believer. That is what I do. What I do is God, family, country. Yeah. And, you know, my fundamentals, and that's how we operate. All of my guys operate under the same command because we are out there, and, you know, we are the protectors for the other people. That's why we do what we do.
100%. No, and you got to know who you are. You got to be who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody knows I'm a Christian, man. Yeah. You do you, but I know how I do me. You know what I'm saying? I know where I get my power from, you know?
Exactly.
100%. I dig it. I respect it, man. I love that. Do you have any advice for guys that are trying to get into the industry right now?
Yeah. Always listen to the people who've been there and done that, but still analyze and do your research. Yeah. Always do your research. But one thing, don't ever get offended when people correct you. If people correct you, it's for a reason. Take it like a grain of salt and say, I'm going to do better. Yeah. Because a lot of the people in this field, like if you're doing something and you get corrected, that ego that people has, it's not good. Do not get offended when people tell you this is how you should do this. This is how you should do this movement instead of doing this. Just my key, you always learn something, no matter what. 100%. I'm not perfect, and I keep learning every day.
Yeah, man. No, that's wisdom. That's wisdom. You go so much farther in life if you can just do that, man. Absorb what's useful, disregard what's useless, add what is essentially your own. It's not an attack on your character, on who you are. I still love you. You know what I mean? But maybe we could take a look at how you're doing this one thing, you know, and maybe you explain to me how you're doing it and it makes more sense, maybe, but be teachable. You know, the glass has got to be at least half empty. No, that's wisdom, man. That's good.
Yeah. And always be humble.
Yeah, man. Otherwise, you're going to get humbled.
By one of my clients till today, 6 years providing security for him. He said, no matter what, you always got to be humble. You stay humble, God will take care.
Yeah, it's true.
It is.
It really is, man. Because if you can be the coolest, sexiest, strongest, biggest, baddest dude, if you're not humble, like you're like a clanging gong, like you legitimately, like you lose all of that. It's ugly. No matter what you do, it's ugly if you're arrogant about it, man.
Indeed.
That's wisdom. Indeed. Let's see here. Who would you like to see on the podcast? I'm doing this new question nomination. You know, who would you like to see on here?
Let's see. I think we can all learn from maybe Tim Kennedy.
Yeah.
I know he's busy. I know
he is busy. Yeah,
he's a busy man, and he's still operating. I think in overseas. Mm-hmm. I would say maybe Toom from Running Tactics.
Okay.
He is another good guy that he's got a lot of experience with hands-on and escort techniques.
Lamb from Ronin. Yeah, man. No, I've been trying to chase him down. So I talked with Tim Kennedy about the symposium. Actually, he's a big fish right now. He's really hot. So we're working up to the Tim Kennedy level.
But,
yeah, Tulam said he'd come on too, but it was a shot show, so I gotta reach back out to him here soon. I love his philosophies. I love how he's very philosophical and warrior stuff and the ethos, warrior paradigm stuff, man. So yeah, those are two good ones.
So those are my good ones. Yep.
Do you have a quote or a favorite like quote or saying, something you go by?
Yeah, to us is my personal one is you do the right thing, stay humble. That's just me. You do the right thing and stay humble.
Heck yeah. I'm gonna write that down.
No matter what.
Yeah. It's those are good words to live by. Because man, life has a funny way of humbling you if you don't figure it out.
Exactly. And that what I mean is like you're always gonna do the right thing. Like if you were right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. But you always do the right thing.
Yeah.
And then everything else will be fine. Don't ever be afraid of admitting that you're wrong, because you can't live with that ego in you and saying that you can't take criticism or you can't admit to your own mistakes. It's not going to take you anywhere.
Yeah. No, and you don't grow. Like,
exactly.
You have to be wrong. You have to. That's the part of the process. It's part of the thing. Like, it's like you'd be right, but then when you're wrong, it's the more growth happens. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn.
In order to be better, and not trying to get all into the religious, but in order for you to do good, you must die itself in order for you to be a new creature. And what does that mean? You repent of everything wrong that you've done, and you're gonna do better. And not necessarily you're going to be perfect, because you can't be perfect, but you must do everything accordingly and just do good.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it comes down to doing the best you can, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And then realizing the best you have isn't good enough. And then your best gets better because you keep trying regardless of whether, exactly. That's good. And you stay in the fight, man.
Yep.
How would you like to be remembered? These are some deep questions, man. These are my closing questions, man. They start getting deep.
I would like to be remembered.
Yeah, brother.
That it's not about what you did. It's about what I taught somebody to do better.
Not about what you did, but what you passed on or what you taught somebody.
I passed on to somebody.
Wow.
That's just my legacy to my two boys that I have.
Yeah, so legacy.
It's not about how much money you have. It's what you learn from us.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's good. That's a good way to be remembered. All right. What are you up to these days, and where can people find you, my man?
So we're still working 24/7. We're located in Fairfax, Virginia, 30 minutes from Washington, D.C. They can reach us at aspesps.com and check our website, check our training. We are open 24/7. You let us know what you need, and we are here.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. You guys have a great service offering, the things that the company offers, from training to actual security assets, both physical, on-ground, technical stuff, hard and soft physical security assets. No, it's good.
Like stuff. I said, we've been blessed. It's been nothing but a blessing, and our network with State Department, government agencies here in the DC area is very strong, and that is something good that we have, including overseas, and it just helps us a lot. But we're in this together.
Yes,
I know that combining forces that will make a difference in the industry, and we're going to make a difference in all the people out there who are trying to get into executive protection.
Absolutely. No, that's awesome, man. It's an honor to be able to join forces with you, brother. And it's an honor that our paths crossed, man. Shaking your hand at the symposium is all meant to be, man. So I'm looking forward to what we're going to do.
I believe so. I believe so, my friend.
Heck yeah, 100%. All right, brother. Until next time, man.
Be safe, and we'll be talking.
Heck yeah. And if y'all haven't got your tickets to the symposium, get your tickets to the Protector Symposium, man. Everybody can go.
Yeah, we sure will. Looking forward.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Talk soon.
Take care.
Out. Boom. Yo, if you're a private security professional wanting to take your game to the next level, go to executiveprotectiontrainingday.com to check out my personal success package for private security professionals. Check it out, executiveprotectiontrainingday.com. And remember, y'all, hard skills do save lives, but soft skills get you paid. Boom. Boom. And to support this podcast, go to executiveprotectionlifestyle.com and contribute to our Patreon account. That Patreon account is what helps me make this podcast possible, contributing to this brand, what we're doing here, making it so that I can bring better guests on, making it so that we can plan more events and just expand the contribution to the private security industry, and also to making America a safer place. Do whatever you can, contribute whatever you can, because it makes all of these things possible. Thanks for those contributions. Yo, and before we go, I got a shout out to the sponsors, starting out with Primary Weapon Systems, PWS. They truly are the evolution of the rifle. Use Byron for 10% off. Grayman & Company, the most comfortable tactical suits in the game. Use Byron for 10% off with them. Ballistic Theory. You're going to start seeing a lot of stuff with me in Ballistic Theory because they got good ammo for good prices. Use Byron for my discount with those guys as well. Last but not least, Executive Protection Institute. Hey, go check them out and get your executive protection education on. Until the next podcast, this is Byron Rodgers, protector by nature and by trade. Out. Boom.